to Rave History. And today we're going to look at mutation. We're going to look at the huge mutation that has been at work since 1781 and that is standing in front of us and that we're going to meet in 2027. And this is the mutation of the solar plex center and the mutation that is taking place in the 55th gate. Now, the 55th gate is the gate of abundance. It's the gate of the spirit in that sense. But this is really a story about awareness and cognition. Let's go back a bit, and let's go back to the nature of the seven-centered being and the nine-centered being. The seven-centered being was specifically strategic. This is the way in which it operated in terms of the mental plane. The mutation, the advent of the nine-centered being, brought with it a dual way in which we can process cognition. That is, a left strategic way, but a right way that is receptive, that is very different. It is this emergence of the receptive that is caught up in the mutation of the solar plex system. When we think about brain and we think about the way in which the mechanism of brain creates the potential of thought, that mechanism is one that we refer to as neural activity. In other words, the neural activity of the brain system is a sign that there are things that are going on in there. Now, one of the most extraordinary discoveries of this past 20 years has been the discovery of the enormous neural network that is in the human solar plex. That is a neural network that is so profound, that is so much denser and more active than the neural structure that we have in the brain itself. Now, science, though deeply, deeply impressed by this, at the same time is having a great deal of difficulty understanding what it is all for. In human design, this is something that has been predicted from the very beginning of, this knowledge being in the world. That is, that there is this mutation that is taking place in the solar plex. The way we experience the solar plex system today is as a motor. In human design, the solar plex functions as a very, very powerful motor. And it is the motor wave of the solar plex system that literally imbues this planet with its frequency. 51% of all human beings are emotionally defined. The world itself lives in the emotional wave, or in the amplification of that emotional wave, a wave that rises and falls, a wave that brings hope and pain, a wave that brings all kinds of chaos in the way in which human beings function on this plane. Yet underneath that wave, that motor power that is inherent in the solar plex is something else. The emergence of fully developed right cognition. This fully developed right cognition, this is what is going to emerge after 2027. Now, it isn't a cognition that is going to emerge in its full sense in beings like ourselves. It won't. There is a mutation that will follow us, but that is not my theme today. The theme is understanding the opening up of and the transformation of the solar plex system into a full cognitive awareness potential. It brings with it great gifts. Half of the children born on this plane are born with right cognitive potential, and yet no one serves them. And no one understands how to help them develop their right cognition. That right cognition is not like the left, so deeply oriented to the way in which the mind will construct or reconstruct the visual world for its strategic purpose. The right in its receptiveness takes in information at much different levels. Information that is electromagnetic, that is auric, that is the byproduct of deep sensitivity in touch, that these are areas of cognitive potential that need to be developed. Perhaps the most important knowledge that has emerged out of the development of human design is the knowledge of rightness, of understanding the dilemma that is there in all of these beings on this plane, who carry with them this potential of solar plex awareness, and yet they are conditioned to live in a deeply strategic world. 2027 will bring great changes. It brings the end of the cross-planning cycle. It brings the beginning of a whole new global cycle. And along with it, it will bring the emergence of a new kind of cognition.